Big production.
What is good? We're gonna go over SQ. This is block or square. I forget what this company's called, honestly, but the ticker is SQ. And we'll start off just by pointing out, like, this has a mad pullback here, like 71% pullback over the past, wow, since August 2021. That marked the top, and then it was downturn since then, right? So it went down 71%. Now I'm gonna just go back and see how many times it's done that, and I don't think it's ever done that before. 71%. We got a 46. COVID was around 60. So, like, this is the largest pullback this stock's ever had, right? So I think that's pretty notable, right? And I'm going to put it in log just to get a better look at it, right? But this doesn't really happen too much on this stock. You get nice big uptrends, and then you get smaller pullbacks. COVID, of course, was random pandemic, random black swan event. But this, over the past since August, was just a small little bear market, right? Couldn't get a few over 6 months. It couldn't break up over on the monthly time frame, right? So now that we're looking at this monthly time frame, this chart looks it's juicy. Potential morning star pattern on the monthly time frame with some nice bull volume coming in this month to recover last month's kind of downturn here. So we got 3 wicks in a row down here on the monthly time frame. Now when we zoom in closer and look at the weekly, 2 weeks ago we had a nice bullish engulfing candle that covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. So 1 week of price action on volume covering 7 previous weeks. So, like, if we're looking at this from a technical perspective, there's clearly money coming into the stock, right? It's clearly at a range where it is now for sure oversold, or was once oversold. And we can tell because if you just look at the RSI, it went all the way down to 18, and that was in February, right? The mid-February there, it hit oversold. So those are just a few technical factors that I think, are worth pointing out. Coming to back test levels that we were at in 2018. So that's the line in the sand right there. If this is our major demand zone and this weekly bullish engulfing candle is the signal that we're going to go higher, then when we zoom into the daily, we should be looking for a few things, right? So we have 1, 2, 3 touches on this supply zone. So that's huge. 2 big days. So here's the first couple, right? So that was like 3 days, 53%. And then we kind of fizzle back down to fill this gap. So we mark a huge bottom here on this chart. We beat earnings and we have a massive gap up. So we gap up huge and then we just fill this gap nice and healthy. The bear volume, right? If you look at the bear volume here, it's nothing crazy. It's not above the average. And we come right back to fill this range. So it's healthy. We double bottom around this $94 zone. And then again, 4 or 5 days in a row, and we get almost another 50% trade, right? So in my opinion, that's pretty telling to say that there's demand in this zone, 100%. Like 100%, this zone is major demand. But now that we're looking at this daily time frame, we got the nice bull flag pattern popping up. So that's something we want to see. And now we need to see this continue. And how we can tell if it's going to continue is if we look up at this 8 EMA here and you see where is it on the 8 EMA. So again, we could just go back to over here during 2020 and look how nicely the chart follows the 8 EMA. So that's a beautiful uptrend, right? So over here, now that we're back around this zone, we want to see that happen again, where we reclaim this 8 EMA, and now we want to hold it. So a few levels that we could point out, of course, if we want to come back down into this range, anywhere around this zone, right, we could come back. It would still be a weekly higher low if we do come to back test this 120 zone. because that's an area where we've had a few wicks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could come back to that 120 zone. That's for the bearish point of view. But for the bullish point of view, where I'd be looking is simply just previous zones where we've had some sort of confluence. So right up here, this 160 zone, definitely looking at 160, right around here. We could drag that out. That's important. We might want to come up there, stall for a bit. But overall, like the name, especially when you look at this on the monthly time frame, like honestly, like monthly time frame, this is the spot. Long it, forget it. In 2 years, it'll probably be like somewhere up here for 300 to 400 zone. Like I don't know what the company does on like a fundamental perspective or how they bring in revenue and things like that, but if we're specifically talking about technicals, it looks pretty good. I'd say the next 12 months will be very, very rewarding for this stock, it looks like. So that's a little breakdown on Square or Block or whatever, SQ. Peace.